What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dynasty 253 podcast. My name is Chris, the Curse Commish. Coming at you solo this week is my normal co-host, Rob, a.k.a. Show Me Your Tets, is actually out of town on a business trip. So he should be back joining us next week, hopefully, because rolling solo is a little odd. I'm getting used to 13 podcasts in with a co-host, so we'll see how this one goes. It was an interesting week this week. We had a lot of big name players get hurt. We had a lot of blowouts in our league. So we'll see how that played out and kind of run through it all. Next week with Rob, basically what I'll be doing is I'll be jumping in and giving everybody an update on where draft pick stands, playoff picture, things of that nature. So hopefully that'll add a little bit more drama and intrigue to the podcast. But let's get into the player news. So this week we saw Jaden Daniels go down with a hamstring injury. Looks like Tyler might be without Jaden Daniels again, maybe just next week, maybe a couple weeks. So, or not Tyler, sorry. Yeah, it is Tyler that has him. It is Tyler. So Tyler, keep your losing streak alive. I know you've lost 2 in a row. Let's keep it going this week when you're playing me. We'll get into that matchup a little bit later. But yeah, so losing Jaden Daniels definitely hurts. Another quarterback went down this week was Bryce Young with a high ankle sprain. He's been riding Jimmy's bench. I don't think he's started him at all this year, but he's going to be out at least this next week, possibly a couple. Other news, Darren Waller went out with a pectoral strain. So James lost his tight end. Hopefully he has somebody else that he can pick up, but it sounds like Darren Waller's week to week. Not that big of a deal. I know Waller had a couple of good games, but he definitely didn't look good the last 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. Other pass catcher news, Mike Evans went down last night on Monday Night Football with a broken collarbone and a concussion. So from what I heard today, sounds like he's going to be likely out for the rest of the season. So tough break for Chapin, who just gave up 3 picks for him in the 2026 draft. So Chapin, you're looking for another wide receiver. I know you have plenty on your roster. Next up was Nico Collins, also went out last night with a concussion. Might miss week 8, maybe week 9 as well. I'm hoping for my roster that he is actually back this coming week and clears concussion protocol, because that's a key piece of my wide receiver room. And last up, we had Kendre Miller, running back, with a torn ACL, so he's definitely going to be out for the rest of the season. Not sure how much that affects Derek's roster. I haven't really looked into that too much, but I don't think he's projected for many points going forward. That is it for the big notable injuries. There may have been others that I didn't really track down. Trying to do this podcast and work gets a little rough sometimes, so bear with me, guys. We did have a couple trades that happened prior to week 7. Like I said, Chapin traded a 26th third, a 26th fourth, and a 26th fifth to Tommy for Mike Evans. As it stands now, Tommy definitely won that trade with Mike Evans being out for the season. Overall, I think it's a good trade. I know Chapin needed some wide receiver help with losing a few that could have been out this week, but actually ended up playing. So shouldn't be too much of a loss. We'll get into my trade with Tommy next week. We'll talk about it with Rob. I want to get his opinion on it. I think I know where it stands, but we'll see how that one plays out. Going into the top scorers of the week this week, Derek put up a monster 161.46 points. I definitely didn't see that coming, but he had some monster games from players. Let me pull it up really quick here. Obviously, you guys can jump into the Sleeper app and see all this stuff, but I kind of like to go over it and just kind of recap. So let's see. Derek, where are you? Moonlight Monarch. 33 from Dak Prescott, 20 from Travis Hunter. So that was a surprise. He came out big. A.J. Brown put up 26-1. Huge game for him. He's been super inconsistent this year, so it's nice to see him get going. Michael Pittman at 17.3, and Trey McBride keeps rolling with 24.4. So overall, great week for Derek. Good job. You beat me. Well, it didn't beat me head to head, but you beat me in points this week. Little disappointed. I came in second place with 155.30 points. I think I could have overtaken Derek if it wasn't for the concussion by Nico Collins in, I think, the third quarter of last night's game. I could be wrong on that, but I had some whopping play with Justin Herbert putting up 37.8 points. Christian McCaffrey staying healthy, putting up 35 points. Keenan Allen came up huge with 23.4. And of course, Brandon Aubrey, old Mr. Reliable, coming in at 18.7. So definitely a good week for me. Sorry, Robbie, you ran into kind of a buzzsaw this week. You put up a solid over 100, so I definitely can't complain about that matchup. You just ran into probably one of my highest scoring weeks of the season. Coming in third this week was Christian at 154.74 points. I just sneaked past him. He also had a really good week from Jalen Hurts putting up 35.54 points. Jahmyr Gibbs just went off last night against Tampa Bay, putting up 37.3 points. Couple down players that should get it going soon, I hope, and Brian Thomas Jr., but Devontae Adams came up huge with Puka Nacua missing the week, putting up 24 points. So hopefully he can keep that going. We need Puka to come back soon for the Rams. That would definitely help. And DeAndre Swift putting up 20.3 points for the Bears. Bears are looking good. They're on a 4-game winning streak. So we'll see what rolls from there. They're looking pretty good. Jumping into the bottom 3 scorers of the week. Robbie, like I said, you came in at 104.94. It was the third lowest on the week. Still a respectable showing. I know you had some kind of rough spots on your roster, but Patrick Mahomes putting up 35.94 points is definitely not a problem for you. Kamara had a real down week, putting up 4.4. Jordan Addison putting up 17.3 as a high point. You had Marvin Mims putting up 12.8 points. Tyler Warren putting up 14.9. I mean, you had really good roster. It was your flex plays that, Kevontae Turpin and little Jordan Humphrey putting up a whopping 2.2 points. That definitely sunk your week. I don't know if you had much on the bench that really would have helped that. So it's a bummer, but I think you have some really good players, and we'll see how the rest of the season goes for you. Second runner-up in lowest points is James, putting up 92.58 points. James, I don't know what's going on with your team. I feel bad for you because you are on a 5-game losing streak right now. I don't know where the issue is on your team, if you're just running into buzzsaw opponents or what's going on there. Because Drake May putting up 28.98 points. If he's putting up 29 points a week, definitely gonna be solid there. You ran into Jimmy, who had Bo Nix put up 43 points. That definitely hurts. But you're happy to have CD Lamb back, putting up 21.5 points for you. And you just had some bad luck on the rest of your roster. So hopefully that'll come up. I know you started off really hot, being one of the highest scorers in the first 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. I don't think you're sitting at 92.58 most of the time. I think you're breaking 100. So I think you'll have some better luck in the near future. Coming in last, the bottom scorer is Tommy. Tommy, like we've talked about, you're looking for next year and the year after. Like, your roster is a little rough right now. No doubt about that. You just got to suck it up and roll with it, man. You're in a rebuild, and I think you can do it. You have, looking at your squad here, you have 13 picks in the 2026 rookie draft. So you can definitely rebuild really quick with that. And I think you'll turn it around pretty quick. Excuse me, guys. Going into the week 7 recap that Rob and I do, our predictions. He's not here. Unfortunately, he didn't give me his week 8 predictions. I tried to get a hold of him, but was unable to. So I'll give my predictions for week 8 when we get up to that. And hopefully I can sweep it. If not, this week's just not going to count for those because Rob didn't give me his. But going into the week 7 recaps, we started off with Rob versus Chapin. We both picked Rob to lose we both picked Rob to win, and we both lost that. Chapin came through, beating him pretty soundly, 131.72 to 112. Baker didn't do you any favors, Chapin, going up against Aaron Rodgers to put up 33 points. But you got it from Quinshad Judkins, who put up 28 with 3 touchdowns, and Olave coming through with 24 with 2 touchdowns. Definitely solid there. Can't argue with that. So nice win, Chapin, even though you knocked Rob and I for a loss on this week. Next up, we picked myself versus Robbie. We both picked myself to win pretty handily. I succeeded in that. So we are 1-1 for this week. Derek versus Tyler. We both picked Tyler to win, and Derek shut us up hard. Came through, handing Tyler his second loss in a row. So congrats to you, Derek. You deserve that win. Up next, Christian versus Tommy. We both picked Christian to win. Safe to say we both succeeded in that. And Keith versus Michael. We both picked Keith to win, and Michael broke his losing streak, coming back big on that one. Ended up winning, I should say. 141.48 to 2. Really good games from both of these guys, Keith and Michael. Both their quarterbacks put up 38 points. Jonathan Taylor for Keith coming through with 32 points. But Jamar Chase came through, and Xavier Legette came through for his wide receivers, putting up 30 and 19 respectively. And Jackson Smith and Jigba coming up with 22. So that's pretty much where that difference was in the matchups, was in the wide receiver spots. Sorry, Keith. Yes, Cooper Kupp throwing an interception does count as negative 2 points against you. He threw a pass. It's the way it goes. Had he run a touchdown in on a handoff, you still would have gotten the rushing touchdown. So needless to say, you would have gotten the negative 2 like you did. Or if he had, I don't know. If he had thrown a touchdown, you would have gotten 6 points. So it's only fair to get that negative 2 if you would have gotten it if he'd have thrown a touchdown pass. And finally, of the week 7 matchups, this is where Rob and I differed. We had Jimmy against James. I took James to win. Rob picked Jimmy to win. And lo and behold, James, you let me down. Jimmy came up huge with 43 points from Bo Nix, 16 from Scattaboo, almost 17. It was just a bad run all the way through for James's squad. I mean, you're putting up 0 from Waller, who got hurt, 3 from Laporta, 1.9 from Whittington, 0 from Luke McCaffrey. Having 2 zeros in your weekly lineup is definitely not going to do you solid when it comes to trying to win a matchup against a team that is super hot. I mean, Jimmy has been on a roll. I think he's won 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So congrats, Jimmy. You're coming up big. All those trades you made definitely helped out. Looking at week 8, there are some really good matchups. It's going to be really hard. I think there's 6 teams on a bye this week. So a lot of big name players on bye. Looking at projections, obviously nobody has really set their lineup for this next week as I'm recording on Tuesday night. So a lot of these numbers are going to change. But jumping in first, we got myself against Tyler. As of right now, projections 138.15 for myself against Tyler's 87.98. That'll change because I know Tyler will put James Cook in his lineup, so that'll help. They have Jaden Daniels projected at 23.5 points, but I don't think Jaden Daniels is playing. Amon-Ra St. Brown's on bye for Tyler, so I don't know what he's putting in there at wide receiver. Zach Charbonnet is on bye, so he's putting in a running back. So these projections are obviously going to change once everybody sets their lineups. But I'm going ahead and picking myself on this one. Rob, you'll have to get back to me at some point and let me know if you have picks for this week before Thursday night games start, because we want to get it actually accurate, and we'll go from there. Next up, we got Rob versus Keith. Again, pretty handily. I think Keith is going to take this one. Rob's got some people on bye weeks, but overall strength of roster, I think Keith has this one. Next matchup is Jimmy versus Michael, the defending champ. Looking at this team, I mean, it's hard to go against any team that has Jamar Chase and Jackson Smith and Jigba right now. But I think if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Jimmy's team with Bo Nix going against the Cowboys this week, whose defense is not even a strainer. You can walk right through that. So I'm actually going to go with Jimmy taking this one. Knock Michael down. Hopefully we can put Michael at 5-3 and move everybody else up to help catch up to those top 3 guys. So yep, I got Jimmy over Michael. So next up, Christian versus Robbie. Looks like a pretty easy win for Christian. Oh, maybe not, because he has Jahmyr Gibbs and Devontae Adams on a bye week. Ooh, this could be interesting. You can put Derrick Henry in. Yeah, I'm still going to go Christian. Yep, I'm going to go Christian over Robbie this week. I think it'll be a lot closer. The projection right now as it stands is Robbie at 92.46, Christian at 64.12. But again, Christian has some players that needs to plug in. So I think overall Christian takes this one. Next up, we got Chapin versus Tommy. It's Chapin. It's not even going to be close. Who's got on bye? Tommy's got Ken Walker on a bye. So he can plug in. He's got a couple players that he can plug in. But looking at Chapin's roster, he doesn't have anybody on bye this week. So I'm rolling with Chapin. Finally, matchups we have is Derek versus James. This is actually going to be a very, very close matchup, I think. They each have players in their lineup that won't be playing. Derek has an empty running back spot, so it'll be interesting to see who he plugs in there. And going through, he doesn't have a whole lot of options, but I'm sure he'll figure something out. So I think this is going to be a toss-up. I'm actually going to go with James to break his 5-game losing streak on this one. So James, I'm rooting for you, buddy. We'll see how it plays out. So those are my picks for week 8. This is definitely a shorter episode. I kind of ran through things without Rob having, our tangents that we go off on. But yeah, that covers that. Like I said, going into next week, I'm going to go through and recap where everybody's standing as far as draft picks go. Playoff matchups as they're looking now are looking pretty good. We'll see how they all play out. Let's see what we got here. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have all looked at the standings right now. But it looks like Tyler and Keith have the bye weeks as of right now. We have, 3 teams at 5-2. We got a lot of teams sitting at 4-3. We got 4 teams sitting at 4-3. We got Jimmy sitting at 3-4, And Robbie, James, Rob, and Tommy all sitting at 2-5. So everybody is within 3 games, and we're going into week 8. So there's still time to make a run. This week is going to be rough, like I said, with all the bye weeks we have going on. Next week, I believe there's only a couple teams on a bye, so that'll definitely help. And I think we just had our last double header Monday Night Football, so that's good. So, yeah, that's about it. I'll run through, do some notes. Sorry, guys, this one's a quick one. Rolling solo. I'm not one to tangent on myself. So we will go from there. I will cut it short, keep this under 30 minutes so you guys have time to go through everything. I hope you guys are liking the podcast. It's definitely been something Rob and I have talked about for a couple seasons now. So I'm glad we finally started to do it. I'm having fun with it. There's a few of you we still need to get on for interviews. I know we need to get Michael on here as a defending champ. We definitely want to talk to you. Keith, we need to get you on here. Robbie, we need to get you on here. Christian, we need to get you on here. And Tyler, we need to get you on here. So we got 5 people left to interview. Hopefully you would like to get it done before the end of the season. So please, if you're watching this, reach out to me on, you reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, whatever it may be. And let's try to find a time to link up, take an hour out of your day, and let's get this interview done so everybody can meet everybody. That way you can at least put a name with a face and team names. So it'll make things go a little bit smoother and be a lot more fun. As you know, maybe I announced it. I think I did. I know I did on one podcast. But if you're listening to this, since we have a few minutes, this year's league punishment, whoever is the loser of the 11th place, or basically, the last place of the bottom bracket in the playoffs, we are going to do a press conference style punishment. So basically what that entails is Rob and I will come up with some sort of script that you're going to need to read. With that script, you are going to have to read it out loud, record yourself, and post it to all your social media platforms. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, if you have both, post it on both. So we're going to have you do that. We're also going to have you come on to the podcast, and there's a way that I can make it set up that we can interview you is kind of like you're at a press conference, and everybody else in the league will have an opportunity to send in questions to be read, which could be really interesting. I know some of the way your minds work, so we'll have to keep it semi PG as far as questions go, because it will get posted onto the YouTube page so everybody can rewatch it, see how it goes. Because once they ask the questions, they won't hear the answers until they watch the episode. So should be fun. Not going to make anybody eat 200 French fries this time. Not going to make you have a, license plate frame. Sorry, Jimmy, for both of those. But I think it'll be a fun way, a little engaging, a little bit different, and we'll go from there. The winner obviously will still get a ring at the end of the year, and of course, money. Who doesn't like money? But that being said, guys, we're going on 30 minutes already. So again, sorry this one's so short. Hopefully we'll be back to the normal episodes next week. Rob and I are working on a couple things behind the scenes to try to make things a little bit more engaging, a little bit more exciting. We're looking at a way to get the podcast not only on YouTube, but streaming it to whether it be Spotify or Odyssey or something like that. So if you don't have the time to sit down and watch the video for an hour, we'll try to get it out there so you can listen to it, through a streaming service so you can listen to it as you go. Another thing we're working on is getting an Instagram page set up for the league so we can post different shorts, just trying to hype it up, let you guys leave comments there. So that's another thing we're working on. Definitely leave comments on the YouTube page. It definitely helps grow it. Obviously, we're not going to be trying to make any money off of this. We're not doing it for, 10 million views, but we're having some pretty good ones. I think our highest viewed one has like 30 something views on it, whether that's 30 different people or if you guys are rewatching it. Watch the whole thing. It definitely helps out, and leave some comments, leave some reviews, talk some trash, whatever it may be. So I hope you guys are having fun and enjoying the podcast. I really appreciate you guys participating in this. And like I said, the other guys, name me again, Michael, Keith, Tyler, Christian, Robbie. We need to get you guys on here and get the interview going. So good luck in week 8, guys. Try to get this out here tonight as I'm doing this, if not no later than tomorrow, Wednesday. And we'll go from there. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Good luck.